What's up? How you doing? Here we are, beautiful evening. I see a few birds flying by. Very nice out tonight. Today we have something I'm gonna try, brand new bottle, and it's called Angel's Envy Finished Rye. This is about $80, $75, somewhere around there. 100 proof rye whiskey finished in Caribbean rum casks. Has the wings in the back. So we're gonna try a little bit. Should have brought a knife, huh? We'll try wow, that smells amazing. I just popped that off and it just came to me. Nice, nice. That is rich. Very nice. Yeah, that's got a nice aroma, like a hint of vanilla in there. Yeah, that smells good. I'm gonna try a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, that smells really, really good. So remember, when you're having the hard stuff, do not drink and drive. You know, one is enough. If you go somewhere, have one, enjoy it. Alcohol is best in small amounts. Otherwise, it becomes an overwhelming poison. But in small amounts, it's fine. So if you're gonna be somewhere, you know, one or two, be there for a bit. Gets out of your system, you're fine to drive if you're there a while, but do not abuse it. And if you want to drink more, stay at home. Stay at home, very dangerous. So I'm home and I'm not going anywhere. So, and I'm only having a little bit. I'm not a booze bag. So we're gonna try a little bit here. That you can tell it's good quality. And I haven't even tried it yet. Very good. Very good. 100 proof. And I'm going to tell you what I think of when I have a little bit. I think of the movie First Blood. There's a scene in that movie where the Sheriff Teasel thinks John Rambo is dead. That's because F Troop shot an anti, what is that? It's like a bazooka thing. So they shot a bazooka thing, and then but Rambo ran deep in the cave, but they thought they killed him. They didn't find a body yet. Anyway, so there's a scene where they're in some kind of bar, and they're having a conversation, you know, about Rambo and all that, and they're drinking. It's probably Scotch, bourbon, something like that, whiskey. But I think of that, and they're looking like it's pretty good there. I don't know. It looks. I don't know what they were having, but it looked good in the movie. Yeah, that's good quality. I highly recommend it, but drink responsibly, not too much. Wake up the next day with radiation sickness on a park bench, half naked. You don't need that. A little bit. Anyway, so I'm going to show you my watch. It's not crazy expensive. It's not expensive at all, but I like it. Zeppelin. I like simple watches. I like watches that have a lot of stuff on them. Altitude, depth in the ocean, temperature, the date, the seconds down to a millionth of a second. I like those watches too, but I really like the simple stuff. Look at that. So it's got a simple face. It's got the time on there. It's got the date down at the bottom, and I enjoy this watch. I'm also a Timex watch guy. One time I bought a Timex watch. This is like a long time ago. I was in my prime back then, and I bought a Timex watch, cheap one. It was like $20 back then, and I wore that in the worst of conditions. I wore it, you name it, in the mud. I wore it in the rain, in the snow, sleet, all kind of weird places. And to this day, as I speak, it still works. So, back in my time, they had commercials with Timex that you would put it through a difficult time and it would still ring. I mean, it would still work. So they would say, Timex takes a licking and keeps on ticking. And they had a commercial where the guy puts Timex into the tire, inside the tire, and they drive for, who knows, thousands of miles. And then they take it out of the tire and the Timex is working. So I've always been a fan of Timex, and I have about 10 or 12 different Timex watches. Exhibition, Scout, you name it, I have Timex. But I really like, the higher end watches that are plain, just three hands, hour, the minutes and the seconds, and maybe even a little date thing. But even Roman numerals would be cool, but something like that. I really like those kind of watches. But I like my Zeppelin. Now, I don't wear this all the time because nowadays you have an iPhone, you look at the time, but every once in a while sometimes when I'm hiking, I mean, this is not really a hiking watch, but I do use it when I hike, or if I'm going to travel somewhere and I want to do one of these moves, I'll put the watch on, and I notice that when I have a watch on, I'm very aware of the time constantly. I know what time every 3-4 minutes I'm doing this. Time is it? So I'm always aware of the time. But it's also a good, beyond telling time, it's a good jewelry piece. And I'm not a jewelry guy. You don't see gold chains hanging out here with the shirt unbuttoned down to here, hairy chest puffed out with the pick. I don't do that, but I do appreciate a good watch. Breitling, awesome, great company, beautiful watches. When I'm in Vegas, I will go to the store and I will look at them and I say, wow, those are impressive. Yeah, there's a few companies like that. Breitling is superior. It's an exceptional watch. Yeah, not bad. So I've been looking at these paragliders, paramotor gliders. I wouldn't mind getting one. You know, it's like you have a seat, you have a canopy, a parachute on top of you, and behind you is like a big fan. And you know, start it up. And then, I don't know, you have to run with it a little bit so the canopy opens up. And then you hit the throttle and you go up. Oh, there's a bunch of birds flying in that V shape. That's the shape of least resistance. That's why they do that. Breaks up the air, but they all fly in that V shape. So yeah, I'd love to get one of those and just go around, you know, different places. Maybe, you know, end up somewhere where you're lost. I've always wanted to do that, like, you know, either by ocean or by air, where you get into a canoe and you drift out, and maybe you're out there for, I don't know, a couple of days or so. You have canned tuna and bottled water with you, and then somewhere along the line you end up, you know, hitting shoreline, and maybe you're in I don't know, Bahamas or something, and you just don't know where you are. Or maybe, if I'm lucky, because I always wanted to do it, uninhabited island in the middle of the South Pacific. I don't know, I always ask people if they own a yacht, if they want to take me to an uninhabited island. I would appreciate it, but nobody owns a yacht. But that's been my ambition for many years, to somehow get on a uninhabited island. On my Google Earth, I have dozens of uninhabited islands throughout the planet that I find interesting. There's a bunch of them in the South Pacific. There's a bunch of them down in Antarctica. There's a few of them north of Russia. Bunch of them in South Korea, bunch of them there. There's a couple by Australia, but that's something, you know, I wish somebody could just drop me off there. Even paragliding, but they're far. I'd run out of gas. I mean, these things probably hold like a couple of gallons or so of gasoline. But it would be a great adventure for me. You know, I've said it before, but when I was a kid, I wanted my parents to surprise me one day and say, hey, wake up. Like, you know, like, I'll give you an example. Maybe I was thinking that, well, it's Tuesday, I got school today, and then I get up at, like, you know, I used to get up at like 10 minutes before 7. When I was a kid, I would get up at 6:50, take a shower every day. Every day I took a shower. But what I was hoping for is one day my parents knock on my door just as I'm about to get up, and they would say, listen, you're not going to school today or tomorrow or the next day. We're taking you on a secret trip. We're not telling you where it is. We're going to blindfold you. We're going to put putty in your ears. We're going to put you on an airplane, and we're going to land in a secret location. Always wanted that. I mean, it's hard to do because the pilot would come on eventually and say, if you look out your window, you'll notice Nova Scotia. And then you'd say, oh, we're going to Canada. But I always wanted like a surprise trip. A trip where I would end up maybe in a Chinese forest, or Mongolia, Nepal, some weird island in the middle of nowhere, if they could get a plane to land there. The jungles of Vietnam, you know, just Pakistan, Iran, something that is out of the ordinary. Yeah, I know the usual places. Oh, let's go to Paris, let's go to England, let's go to Rome. Yeah, those are beautiful places. I would love to see those as well. But I also want to see obscure places like the Congo, or some weird island like Point Nemo, some area like that. Cape of Good Horn, is that what it's called? I don't know. There's a few places that I see that I think to myself, that would be a beautiful place to go. Like the North Pole. You know, like they land on the North Pole. That would be cool. Walk around. South Pole. But you know, for me, it's not even just going to the South Pole. I would love to go to the South Pole, but I would love to go to the South Pole and visit a mountain there, like the tallest mountain at the South Pole would be cool. New Zealand, some weird part of New Zealand, love to go there. And there's a place I'd like to visit in Argentina, Chile. The Andes. I had a friend named Andy. The Andes Mountains. I'd like to visit that site where that, what was it, a Crickets team? Plane crashed there. And they had to make a choice. Do we die of starvation, or do we eat the dead and survive? And they chose to do the right thing. They ate the dead. I mean, the dead were dead, but you know, at least the living could survive and not die themselves. And you know, I mean, you think about it, when you have plenty of food, that is the last thing you want to do. But in a situation where it's life and death, becomes easier to do that. You know, I hope that I am never in a situation like that. But it's an interesting story, and I've seen a movie about it. Very interesting story, but I would love to go there and visit the site. Another good location, the Swiss Alps or the Italian Alps. Either side, fine with me. Some crazy rock structures there. It's another good place on the planet to visit. Northern Canada, way up. Greenland. Greenland is another. I always think of Greenland as a good place to go. Greenland, you know, and that's lonely up there. There's only a few people that live up there, but I don't want to go to the cities or the towns, whatever, with the colorful houses. I want to go way deep, where you know, it's like rock and ice. That's what I want to do. Greenland. Trying to think what else would be interesting. Afghanistan has nice mountains. This tape measure, these kind of tape measures here, not the specific one, but the Lufkin, remind me of my father. He had one he bought, 1966. This section here moves, and he wrote his name in there, in his, see right there, wrote his name in there, and the year, 1966, and his was all old and loose. But he never used a tape measure. He always pulled out one of these. And I kind of like one of these, very sturdy, you know. I have a bunch of these. This is a rock steel one, but I have the Lufkin ones. Millimeters here. Every once in a while you see a lonely bird go by. Sometimes when I'm out here and I'm looking at the sky and I see a bird or two go by, it reminds me of like the old days, like it's 1970 or 1964. You know, I drive by, sometimes I look at neighborhoods with old houses, And I imagine how it was when those houses were still here, but the year was 1920, 1925, 1930, 40, whatever. The people, the events, the conversations, the arguments, you know, the happiness, the sadness, the wars that had broken out, you know, the different vehicles. And it's almost like you're here, the houses are the same, but the years are different. It's like somebody sped up the film reel, you know, and you just see time flying by. But when you're in it, time, you know, feels like stationary. And then you think about it and you go, wow, time flies. It was just last week, not too long ago, and a month ago, and that wasn't that long ago. But it's amazing, you know, you stand here, and if you could go back in time, all this still existed, but it was just different people around, different situations. Who knows what, you know, was going on. This is pretty good stuff. You don't want to drink the cheap stuff, you know, like the $12 bourbon. That's like diesel, kerosene. And like I said, only a little bit. Only a little bit. Enjoy it. Don't ruin your health by drinking too much. Just a little bit. And never drive drunk. Here they come, the crows. So funny thing about the crows, they're coming from that direction, and they fly that way. One day, me and my bride, we were driving around in that area, you know, and everybody's lawn had dozens of crows just picking out worms. I don't know, they were looking for something, but yeah. That's why they come out. They're looking for insects. And now we have like 3-4 kittens that they're just, you know, wild. Slowly they see me out here, and they become more confident that, you know, I'm not going to harm them. We have one, the gray one, she or he, I think it's a she, has been coming around now for a few months and lies over there and just watches me. And then there's 2 new ones I saw yesterday, a black one that looks like my cat inside, because they're all related here. And then there's another one that looks like my cat inside, which is like an orange cat, like Morris the cat from 9 Lives. Well, yesterday, those cats usually, when I open up the door, they take off. And I'm left with that gray one just watching me. But yesterday, those 2, they were hanging around watching me from a distance. So they're somewhere. And then the other day, I came out here at night, and it was dark, and I walked past that way, and the gray cat was hiding in the back there trying to get some sleep. And I startled her, ran, you know, the other way. But yeah, beautiful sky. Beautiful sky. The stars are coming out very shortly. That's a big crow. Yeah, I love going to the desert at night because I could see thousands and thousands of stars. And then you start imagining what other life forms are out there, looking this way and wondering what other life forms are out there. When I was, I want to say when I was around 20 years old, maybe a little bit younger, I remember my mind would constantly focus on what was another civilization doing at the moment I was, you know, picking up whatever, my laundry. You know, I was always wondering where in the universe is life besides ours, and what are they doing right now? Are they more advanced than us? Are they behind us? You know, it's just weird. I find the existence on this planet weird. You know, here we are, and if you're not here, you as an individual, this place might as well not be around, because you wouldn't be there to witness it, so it would be nothingness. And who knows how many more realities exist, but the only way to know them is to be in them. Otherwise, you can't get to them from here, no matter how fast you travel. It's not even a matter of distance. It's just that it's not able to, you can't get there from here. But one day, I'm hoping that I will turn on the internet and see a headline say, alien ship lands in Nebraska, and it's conclusive. There's no ambiguity. It's 100%. It's some other life form has come here, and we're going to have an interaction. But I keep waiting. In my opinion, there's other life forms out there. I see that as obvious as the sun coming up tomorrow. But I find that the reason why we haven't had contact is the vast distances, and there may be a great filter where civilizations exist, and then something happens. Maybe they develop nuclear weapons, and then somebody gets annoyed and hits the button, and everybody else hits the button too, and the whole place goes away. But if there is a great filter, that would explain. Maybe life forms that are intelligent, maybe they last about 1 million years from the beginning of the primitive days all the way to the advanced stages, and then the weaponry is so good that they end up blowing themselves up or something, or maybe an asteroid takes them out. Or it could be that you're allowed to develop even longer, but the distances are so vast that you don't realize anybody else is around because you don't pick up a signal. It's too far. Anyway, I don't know what tonight. Maybe chicken wings. My wife, she says maybe spaghetti. I'm not really in the mood for spaghetti, but if that's what they want, then spaghetti, spaghetti is it. But I'd rather have some chicken wings, buffalo wings with some hot sauce. Some hot sauce. I'm gonna buy that really hot sauce. I saw it on that show, Hot Ones. I'm gonna buy it and test it for myself, see how it goes. Anyway, yeah, that's it for now. I am going to go inside and find out what's for dinner. All right, ciao.